Hello, YouTube.com. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And unfortunately, I've become one with the Force, but I'm going to commune with my buddy, Rob. Hey, Rob.
You're the
Hey,
ghost of Toys R Us.
hey, you're back. You used to be a ghost, and you've
Thanks,
returned.
friends.
Like Ben Solo returning with his little barrel-chested naked thing, making all of those
You know,
people
you're setting
horny.
my wife up for disappointment. All
Uh-huh.
right.
We're
She's gonna
intermittent
take the
fasting,
shirt
buddy.
off.
It's only time.
Yeah.
I follow the intermittent fasting Twitter. I'm not Twitter, Reddit. And boy, I know I'm just gonna get a 6-pack doing it.
it just springs magically if you don't eat. Yeah.
So really up front, thanks to everyone who's a channel member. Please become a channel member, and on our channel member only days, you can, we'll answer all your questions and interact, and you can be part of the chat and all that kind of stuff. And it supports the channel mostly. That's really like what it's mostly about. And it allows me to go and get scoops and keep this as a quality show. If you want audio only versions of the show, you can become a Patreon supporter instead, or in addition, if you're really really giving and wealthy, and then you could get a podcast version of the show if that helps while you're at work and stuff. If you can't have the YouTube on with the video, and please like the video, and make sure you have the notifications turned on, so that way when we go live and when we do a show, you are notified. And as things continue to grow on the channel, we'll continue to drop fun stuff and all that kind of jazz. Because boy, I gotta say, I'm both energized today and ready to talk about this news story today, which is an Obi-Wan Kenobi spoiler about how something works or doesn't. I mean, everyone else has already run articles on it saying it's happening, so I'm just like, whatever about the spoiler nature of it to some extent. But the details, if anybody really thought they were going to bring an Obi-Wan Kenobi show out and not put Qui-Gon Jinn in it, then you are probably a little bit crazy and a little bit loco in the cabeza or whatever,
Also, right before you do it, don't forget, folks, after the first 10 minutes, when you're fed up with this stuff, just let it run. Just let it go right to the end. Let the show go right to the end. You can turn the volume down. But if you do that, you're feeding the algorithm. You're helping to share the show. Even if you don't want to give us a membership or a like or a thumbs up and you hate us in the comments and you complain, it's okay. Just let it run to the end.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Do that, chat-aheads. And it definitely, it ain't free. It turns out time ain't free. It's not linear. Think about that. But it's definitely not free. So the article, here it is. Will Qui-Gon Jinn appear in Star Wars Kenobi? Okay. So spoilers, and more spoilers. So I remember when Qui-Gon Jinn died in 1999. Super Scooper John Williams let me know on the back of the soundtrack to The Phantom Menace. John Williams has always been a Scooper hero of mine. I was buying that soundtrack because I wanted to know everything about the film. And the hot fire track, Qui-Gon's Noble End, confirmed everything I was hearing back then on the internet about Qui-Gon's fate. Then we had the rumor from Attack of the Clones that we would hear Qui-Gon's voice say, "No, Anakin, no." That panned out and was accurate. And, give me that Force ghost. Later, for episode 3, it was rumored Qui-Gon would appear in Revenge of the Sith, appearing to Yoda as a disembodied voice, but that was unfortunately cut. We just got that weird Ben Burt cutscene on the DVD. We then had Qui-Gon appear in the Clone Wars, and those arcs were rad, but I have always wanted to see Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon as a ghost on screen in live action. Over the last year, I heard Liam Neeson was back as Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Bespin Bulletin, my favorite Star Wars news site, confirmed Liam Neeson was physically back and more than a voice. I was elated to hear this, as I was holding on to my own Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan stories as I verified more details. So I will pick up where John Williams in 1999 and Bespin Bulletin in 2022 left off and explain my understanding of Qui-Gon Jinn and Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now we're to the series. When we meet Obi-Wan Kenobi, A decade after Revenge of the Sith, he has lost all hope. Sources say the lonely and broken Jedi reaches out with the Force to call his old master. Cut off from most social life, living in a cave, Kenobi attempts to contact the closest thing to a father he ever had. And when he reaches out and calls to his old master, absolutely nothing happens.
It's like talking to
Crushing.
my parents when they were alive.
Obi-Wan's getting the real father experience here.
Eh.
Yeah.
Eh.
So life is not going as expected for Kenobi. That glimmer of hope we saw in his eye when Yoda confessed to communicating with Qui-Gon 10 years before has faded. Obi-Wan is calling out and Qui-Gon is not answering. Owen will not let Kenobi have any interactions with Luke, and he works a hard job for a pittance to survive. This is very difficult for Kenobi, and it sounds like it is getting in the way of his training. Kenobi does not understand what is holding him back from reaching that next level. So he sits in silence when he attempts to reach his master. As Kenobi goes on one last adventure, for now anyways, he meets hopeful allies. He sees resistance and rebellion forming throughout the galaxy. He experiences the indomitable spirit of Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala's daughter as she assists an underground railroad in defiance of the Empire. Obi-Wan moves from hopelessness to hopeful for the future as he sees he is not really alone in this fight. In a middle chapter, Kenobi experiences the beginnings of a resistance as young Leia Organa aids a movement to save political dissidents of Palpatine's empire. There is hope, however. Kenobi is only starting to see it now. And then when Rob and I talked about this, he mentioned about this Rocky moment. He sent me the quote from Mickey to Rocky. And so I have amended it here to, you're going to eat Force Lightning and you're going to crap Force Thunder. So Kenobi's first fight with Vader does not go so well. But a re-energized and strategically sound Kenobi becomes more determined to stop Darth Vader and confronts him on Mustafar's rocky moon. It is in this second fight that Qui-Gon appears as a voice to Obi-Wan, encouraging him and assisting him in his battle against the Dark Lord of the Sith. One moment of clarification. Qui-Gon's not picking up stuff. Qui-Gon's not throwing lightning bolts. Qui-Gon is in his ear telling him what to do, coaching him, assisting him. There's a lot at stake here. And Obi-Wan has now reached that level where he can finally begin to hear Qui-Gon. So to be clear, this is just Qui-Gon's voice acting as Mickey from the Rocky films. Obi-Wan has his mojo back and can hear Qui-Gon now. The voice guides Kenobi, and for the first time in a long time, he knows he must win because they are going to win the fight against evil, and he has work to do. My sources believe when Obi-Wan returns home to Tatooine, we see him enter his dwelling after his adventure, and Kenobi is a changed man. He is not the man we saw laying on a floor, beaten and destroyed in the first chapter. He's Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi, Jedi Master. And that is when Qui-Gon Jinn appears to him as a Force ghost he can physically see. Obi-Wan, having connected with the living Force and with his spirits raised, is now ready to begin work with Qui-Gon Jinn and become more powerful than the Sith could possibly imagine. This was my understanding of the journey that Kenobi takes in regards to Qui-Gon Jinn and why he is absent from the journey for so long. Because I am fairly confident in this after discussing the event of the series with several sources during the summer of 2021, knowing the journey Kenobi undertakes in the series, this seems to make the most thematic sense to me with the pieces I have uncovered as a Star Wars journalist. Because of the secrecy surrounding the production, maybe there is more to it. I am fairly confident in what I do lay out here, but I do not try to be blinded by hubris and think I know it all for sure. But for instance, I'm not sure if Qui-Gon has any words as a ghost or if he simply represents Kenobi's victory. and that our hero is no longer alone. I suspect the ending is primarily cut to music as we see the survivors settle back into their places in this fairy tale. And then I say, make sure to subscribe to the Making Star Wars show, like the video, and become a channel member. And yeah, and here's one of my allies, the Emperor. How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah, I just read the article. I'm so excited to see that.
Yeah,
I've been waiting to see him since May 1999, so it's been a long time.
right. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming at it from too. I love the appearance of Qui-Gon Jinn in the Clone Wars. The work that they did with them over those episodes is fantastic. And when there were no films, it did the job. But here we are now, back with live action Star Wars and an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and now it's time to let that itch get scratched after all these years. Like since 1999, I've been like, oh well, he dies, he's gonna become a Force ghost. And then we hear the voice in Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith. That's one of my biggest like critiques of Revenge of the Sith, is they didn't do that scene, that they just said, oh, by the way, I'm communing with them, and I think
makes us brothers now.
oh,
sorry, it was the other movie. My bad, dog.
yeah.
It was quirky Lucas things.
Yeah, no, and I think it had to do with the fact that they didn't really love the scene as it played out. I don't think Lucas loved. I don't think it completely hit every beat that they hoped it would. And then I think that there was a little bit of like, we got to get Liam Neeson in here somehow, and it was kind of like difficult. They were like, you know what, we'll just cut it. We'll just say have Yoda. We'll just expedite the end, because the ending was already kind of getting clunky and bogged down. And so I think they just said, yeah, we got to get rid of it. And so yeah, for me, for years, this is like the story I've been waiting for. When I knew that Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney and that we were going to get more Star Wars, and that there were rumors of Han Solo, Boba Fett, and then a Kenobi series, I was like, I need that Qui-Gon.
Yeah, sure.
And so like in a weird way, getting to be a part of the scoop scene or whatever on this one is a kind of a dream come true, and I'm so like glad that like Bespin Bulletin got that really big, was able to confirm that really big piece that let me know the other stuff was completely on too. So it's like it's a good example of two sites working in tandem and actually like helping each other get to the nitty gritty of what we want to know.
Yeah,
and
it's good.
That's what I really like.
Yeah,
I really like how Obi-Wan affixes the ghost armor to a battle droid suit, and so then he gets to walk around in battle droid armor with them and have adventures on Tatooine.
Yeah,
it's my favorite part. Yeah,
I
so much. Dude.
Yeah, I've been kind of laughing about that a little bit over like this last 24 hours. I'm like, if I always report the truth to the best of my knowledge, and as accurately as I possibly can. But it's like funny when someone doesn't understand it or doesn't like it, then I'm less accurate, less truthful. No, that's just not how, I didn't just all of a sudden wake up and have an aneurysm and then write that article and then go to the hospital, come back. And then now, that's what's happening there on yesterday's story.
Yeah, that's on them. It's not on you. Yeah.
I never check follow-up sites, or podcasts, other than I listen to Meg, because she puts a pretty concise episode every morning. I wake up and, hey, I got something to listen to. Mm-hmm. So that's awfully convenient. So she's cool. But another one of them, like, they were really nice, but they were like, they go to the site and they're like, man, Jason, what's up with this site? For some reason they couldn't read it, so they go, I'm going to Bespin Bulletin site. And I'm like, oh, you guys must be friends. Then there was this battle over which one's easier to read. I'm like, get out of here, guys. Like,
yeah.
So funny.
Should I put a different theme on the site? Should I just copy Bespin, make it black?
I think it needs glitter. Like, you know, like
I should move it to a GeoCity site with like a cool background, with like the Boo Starfighter, like GIFs in the background that are animated.
You remember the rotating cube? My friend tried to make this, like, they had a rotating 3D cube on GeoCities you could do, and he was like, I can make that a holocron cube. I'm like, yeah, put the little spoilers in a holocron cube. Let's fulfill that legacy.
I'm gonna, on the bottom of the site, I'm gonna put under construction with the little sign. And
With the cones, and they got to be all pixelated GIFs, like 6-color GIFs, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, how is the chat doing today? Hell Satan, the young boomers here. My buddy Eric Denton's here. Miss you, Eric. Haven't seen you in a while. We got to get together. And Star Wars Satan, the Grand Inquisitor looks dumb. Laugh out loud. Yeah. So on that one, I'm just like of the opinion that it mostly doesn't matter. I kind of just like mostly don't care. When I look at the design of the Grand Inquisitor and I look at the series, I'm like, I could see where they went with like weirder as opposed to like a 1-to-1 with the animation style. And yeah, I don't know. It's I guess don't let it get you down, because I don't think he's that important. Like I don't you know, he's definitely in it, like walking around looking for people. But you know, he's not that important. He can't die. He can't. He can't evolve. He's sort of a character stuck in stasis because of his was introduced after the show, and so if Reva starts looking stupid, if Reva starts acting like a bad character or being portrayed as such or seeming so, then we need to be worried. But with the Grand Inquisitor, you know, we just kind of see he's the boss. And he just kind of like
I highly suspect, Jason, that after the show comes out, there'll be a nice little interview where they go, the actor really felt more comfortable without the makeup on, and we love his performance. And I suspect this is
I hope not.
Preference,
don't put it on him. I'm
not blaming him, but like if they're more comfortable, guys, like okay, I maybe phrase that in a way where I'm not putting it on the actor, but like, you know, there are times when not everyone's super comfortable in wearing a giant. That's why there is guys like Doug Jones and the dude from Mad Max, like people that generally in Hollywood specialize in makeup work, right?
Like Bruce Spence,
heavy, right? Bruce Spence, like heavy makeup work. Even look, people seem to like Ron Perlman as Hellboy. I don't think he can move his face much in that shit.
Yeah,
you know? It's like he's always talking through the little mouth, you know, like his mouth can move and his eyes can look around, and there's not a lot of Harry and the Henderson expression going on there, right?
And from the leaks that you've reported, Jason, it seems like Reva is more important to the show than he is.
Yes,
from what I've gathered. So
yeah, if like let's put it this way: if Baymax, our buddy Baymax, was going down to the local Target to buy a Star Wars action figure, because and asked me who's the most important one that I should buy, it's Reva. Reva's the character. The fifth brother is a, I'm not going to say it's a cameo because he's in it like a hell of a lot, but it's not important. He's just there. He's just doing. She is the person who we're following. She's our villain until Darth Vader. Darth Vader steps in, and even then, she's still involved. Yeah, just to be like all super clear. Yeah, you know.
The only thing I would worry about, but to play devil's advocate, if I were a fan I'm not hung up on this one. I just always thought he was going to look like the Bruce Spence dude from Revenge of the Sith, like whatever. Is that if they start changing the look, you know, like in a game or somewhere else to match the actor, right? They start retconning the look, and you're like, I don't like that look, you know. That'd be unfortunate.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, like this is me being like a bit. Admittedly crazy, but I don't like that Saw Gerrera doesn't have blue contacts in his eyes. He has blue eyes when he's introduced in the Clone Wars, and then they introduce him. They bring him into the Bad Batch. Even he's got like blue eyes on that planet, and then later on he just doesn't have them. And I guess there's probably going to be some story someday where it's like he got his eyes burned out and got new ones or something. You know what I mean? Like they'll probably, or he changed them to be to evade retinal scanners or something weird. They'll probably do something. Maybe they already have, and I just don't know. But yeah. So things like that have happened. I mean, Saw Gerrera doesn't look like Forrest Whitaker when he is introduced, and then they cast Forrest Whitaker in the part, which is a huge upgrade. Forrest Whitaker is a huge, it's like, okay, you're getting Forrest Whitaker, cool. Like I was okay with that. But yeah, but I'm with you. Like, you want there to be, you don't want these like glaring contradictions to like sit. But at the same time, like, it is an aesthetic difference, but all of the things are still there. Like if you read the Grand Inquisitor in a novel, you could literally picture the guy you're seeing on screen or the guy you saw in the cartoon. You know what I'm saying? It's and I think,
you know what I liken it to is Chewie's looking Revenge of the Sith. A lot of people love Revenge of the Sith, but I don't think that looks like Chewbacca at all. I think that looks like that looks closer to some hand-me-down holiday special Chewbacca with a better budget, but like the same kind of weird.
Yeah, better budget. Yeah,
better budget. I'm not saying low quality. Just the sculpt is so weird to me. I couldn't. But I'm like whatever, man. I'll get past it. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Not a complaint of mine when it comes to the film.
Yeah,
I got other complaints.
Yeah, no, and it's like I think that it like if at the end of the day, the Grand Inquisitor not looking like the cartoon is the big complaint, I should call that a win. And if that sticks, if that's what sticks, there are things coming down the road that I think will be controversial, but I think you will ultimately get over. And then as time goes on, no one will see those things as controversial. Sorry, I hate to be vague like that, but for today, I dropped enough. I think I can be a little bit vague on that.
For a week, Jason. I think you need a break from
Yeah, I know. I think
actually he affixes his ghost to a battle droid, and puts a little seal on the back. Right, they make a deal with the Bogan lords, and then he's stuck to a battle droid, and they have adventures until. That's why he goes, I don't remember owning a droid because he'd never own a droid. Droid was his best friend.
Yeah, you don't own your best friend.
No. You don't own your best friend
unless it's at Turtles in Time. No. Anyways, yeah, I think that they're gonna. I think that they're gonna be okay though. I think everyone's gonna get over it. Yeah, but people are dramatically focusing on the negatives. Isn't it Qui-Gon who says that your focus determines your reality? So you guys are making your reality very, very negative when you have so much to celebrate this week, in my opinion. So many things, like so many just fantastic things. I mean, I think this might be my biggest week of scooping ever, probably. Got the trailer. We got the day of the trailer. We got the Grogu's new look. We got the Qui-Gon and a bunch more stuff just in the lead up to it. So I am feeling pretty good as a pooper scooper.
As you should.
But and then Satan was like, there was the internet in 99, right? It was all under construction on GeoCities, like I said. But yeah,
I really miss those first generation Force.net trailers for episode 1 when they would just take they show a volcano and some dudes from Braveheart and they'd rotoscope some yellow lightsabers in there and the really real early like 3D, like when people thought the Naboo white fighters, they thought the sides extended forward. Remember this one? They thought it did this and they went back like an X-wing or something, and they put them all underwater. And people were like, "This is amazing."
Baymax may remember this. I don't know if you guys will, but do you guys remember when there was? I don't remember why this rumor was started, but that the Queen ship was a Marie Celeste. Do you remember that rumor from back in 99, 98? There was this there was this idea that the Queen ship landed in the dock on the Naboo hangar with nobody inside. And then everybody was talking for like a month about the myth or the story of the Marie Celeste, which was like a ghost ship that arrived at port with nobody on it. And yeah, it was like a whole thing.
Vaguely, yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I do, but this sounds familiar to me. And then
Yeah,
for that, yeah, I missed
yeah.
that.
These are the kind of neuron synapses firings that I have going on when I'm start writing about Qui-Gon last night. But yeah. Does Vader moonwalk? Yeah, it looks like a Star Wars Weekends moment, Baymax. It looks just like one of those cringy Star Wars Weekends moments. Hey, we got a super chat from Sheev.
Hey.
Couldn't help but laugh covering the IG Grogu yesterday, but you've been killing it, Jason. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Sheev. Yeah, I know it's wild, man. It's wild stuff.
I thought Star Wars Meg did a really good job. Not on the show yesterday. She was quiet. What's up with that? But you stunned her, dude. It was the best.
Like, I know she was just like
But then she put on her video today, she put the footage, thankfully, of IG-88 with Grogu holding him right there in the little bit, you know, and he's on that speeder bike, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like all that, when you see that, you're like, I'm trying to say, like, people try to remember, like, the little guy's constantly trying to avoid being murdered every 3 seconds in all these series, even in the last 2 episodes. It doesn't matter what force powers they ain't gonna protect you 100 blasters. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been a Jedi purge. You know what I mean? Like, they're shooting down Jedi in the temple with blasters through Grogu's eyes. Like,
no one can kill a Jedi. I wish that were true.
Yeah, right. So like he's not going to get big for a long time. You know.
Well, when he gets big, he ain't gonna be big.
Yeah,
you have this. You have this thing where if he does hold up like a little sword, and he's like this big with the armor, then they're always looking down when they're talking to him. So you want him also up at eye level in a camera, and this is constantly like a problem. I was drawing a comic once where I had a character who was like a little dude, like a little thing, and then a tall character, and I was like, how do you get them up? Like, they're on the shoulder, they move around here, you know, like this is it's a problem. So this solves a lot of issues. Other than people are like, I don't want, because they think of Iron Man or some shit like that. I'm like, well, so you know, Commander Cody was the original Rocketeer in the 30s, so we're way past all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, Doctor Doom existed before Darth Vader. I don't know if you folks are aware of that. You know? Like,
yeah, no, it's true.
You don't inherently, the greatest character of all time or greatest villain of all time is based off Doctor Doom. Legit. Like, so let it go.
Star Wars Satan says, and Anakin should have been in Rise of Skywalker, though it still would have been a bad movie. Yeah, it definitely would have helped if they had done that. And Baymax and I were talking very briefly about, you know, he was asking, like, you know, how does Anakin retain his identity in the Force? Like how does that work? And, you know, a part of it we're supposed to go, it's magical, we don't need to understand, it's beautiful, leave it alone. But there was the original draft of Return of the Jedi, which took place, the final confrontation between Palpatine, Luke Skywalker, and Darth Vader is in that underground Ralph McQuarrie throne with the lava on both sides. And so they're there. Palpatine begins to kill Luke with his Force lightning. That's when Yoda and the ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi show up. And Palpatine's like, yeah, when he sees them. It's a very Willow end battle kind of thing. Yeah, you know. And then that's when that's when Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, returns, jumps on Palpatine, grabs him, and jumps into the fire, killing himself and Palpatine to save his son. That was the original concept of the sacrifice. And then
David Prowse didn't want to jump in lava. It's the problem. They wanted to do it for real, like in camera.
They wanted to throw him in fire.
So, yeah. That was kind of how they were trying to get rid of him. Like, he was on though. He knew better.
But the idea was in that moment we would then learn that Anakin's spirit was saved from the netherworld by Obi-Wan in that moment, because they were there and they were go. And so there was like an internal logic to it at one point. And I will say, in a lot of ways, I like the idea of Vader jumping into fire, killing himself with Palpatine, and kind of like going back into the fire that he went into to become the demon in a way, like going back into it and actually dying in a weird way.
Marquand was too chicken shit to throw Cross in the fire, so we had to put it on we had a whole second Death Star came out that way. And also canonically, It's actually called a forced divorce, Jason.
A forced divorce.
Forced divorce. That's what
divorce.
Anakin had. He had a forced divorce, and you lose 50% of your midichlorians. Yeah.
Turns out Richard Mark
in the Force. The Force still had some of those midichlorians. So when he died, they were able to use them there. It's all in canon.
And Richard Mark 1 had a lava kink, so they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. It got too weird. He would start rolling around and bathing in it. They had to move the whole.
The wills are actually more like a prenup, if you're familiar with this concept.
Oh, but anyways, what I was gonna say was this story. If there's not more to what I'm hearing, if there's not more to it, and if the story as I'm hearing it is accurate, you have to like almost like hope is almost the key to this spiritual ability in a way. You have to have it or you can't do it. And I'm going to throw it out there and just like try to like connect everything with this new logic if it's true, or if it is true, but if it's all entirely accurate, then can Luke Skywalker hear Obi-Wan because he's so full of hope? He's that Pollyannish character who hasn't been beat up, and he just believes everything he's heard from Kenobi, and he's on so he can hear it, and then he could eventually even see him. And is that why Anakin's able to ultimately survive? Is he filled with hope when he sees Luke not giving into the dark side? That when Luke is that immovable object in front of Palpatine, is that when he becomes hopeful for we can do this? Is that when Anakin returns, and in that return, is he filled with hope again and then able to become a Force ghost? And I kind of think that's the story. I kind of think that's the logic now.
That sort of it makes enough sense, I suppose. Doesn't make any sense why all the Jedi would have never heard another Jedi post death, but I get it. I always thought back when Lucas introduced the concept of a living Force in that first film, right?
Yeah.
And then he said that he eventually was in an interview and he was like, yeah, Qui-Gon's the one who teaches everyone how to do this. I thought it was because he figured out how to attach himself to living things. Like the Jedi were about going somewhere else, having no attachment. And he had attached to life itself, not love or anything, but just living things. And since the Sith were all like, say the Sith are pure, everything dies, burn it all to the ground. The Jedi are about like, we're just temporary. We're going to live somewhere else. So we're here as stewards. But I thought Qui-Gon was going to be a person who was so in the moment that he's connected to all living things. Hence the connection to him is that he flows through, because as you die and become a tree, right? And now you're part of nature. He became one with the living Force, which he's in living things. So if, it's kind of like I touched the planet here, Qui-Gon, but like in a way that there could have been that was where I thought he would go with it. And then none of that shit happened, and I quit Star Wars for 10 years.
It did happen. You weren't paying attention. Like that video that I sent you, if you ever feel like watching it, somebody did an edit where they edited all of the Qui-Gon Clone Wars stuff together. And he literally says that, like, he's like, I'm using the midichlorians right now to manipulate life to appear to you.
I am gonna watch it. Yeah, you just sent it to me at 8:00. I'm like, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. Because hey, I don't. It's not homework, man. But it is definitely like, it would be great if you watched all of those episodes. But if you don't want to watch all the episodes and you just want to get like the sugary sweet Qui-Gon moments, they're all right there. Yeah. And the person who edited it did a very good job, but they will put like Grogu in it in the middle and stuff. I'm a little bit like, no, you're just trying to please the YouTubers, but anyway, but what do I know? Oh wait, hold on.
I can appreciate that.
Dale says, I sometimes sleep to prepare for work during the show, not from boredom, but like one time I dreamed I was in a work or school environment and Jason Bourne was the show on an intercom and TV network. Hey,
Jason's sunglasses kid.
I think that's a compliment. No. Baymax says, my favorite thing about this article is that young Leia is the one that helps to put the wind back in Kenobi's sails and gives him hope again. That helps explain why she's the head of the rebellion. Yeah.
SJW.
Yeah. No, like Leia in this show she sounds like Leia, but at 10. I mean, and it's a little bit like, if you wanted Leia to be a child, I think maybe maybe it won't sit. I don't know how it will sit with people, but because it's like Leia's being Leia in the show. She's 10, but she's very much Leia. She's taking care of business. Like Padme's 14 and the Queen of Naboo. Slightly through manipulation.
You know what it is?
But yeah.
He also, the problem is he's stuck on Tatooine, so he's looking around and everyone's always depressed, Like you see it in the trailer, like he's on the wrong planet. It'd be like when I go to the VA and I'm stuck watching Fox News for 7 hours because they're like, it's 7 hours late for my appointment. And you're just like, I can see how people get fucking torture.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking the whole world that way until you step back outside and you're like, no, it's an echo chamber. But I just think like being on Tatooine, you could be like, yeah, it is dead. All he's seen is death. And then when he actually sees, it's not that way, right? He gets a grander sense.
Yeah. Like I said, it's what Qui-Gon says. Your focus determines your reality. And Obi-Wan has gone through a traumatic galaxy changing event. And then now he lives in a cave and he doesn't see, and everybody who's on Tatooine are people like, what is the line in the Phantom Menace? Like people who don't want to be found are the people who are there. Yeah. And so like, that's what we have. And that's what Deborah Chow and who's the writer? Joby Harold. They nailed it. Like they knew what, they took all of the elements of the story that pertain to Obi-Wan's universe, and in my opinion, they knock it out of the park.
Jason, is it safe to say that the main theme of this series is hope? Like if you think about it, like the main,
and it's not cringy. Like I kind of found it. I found it a little bit cringy when they play with the hope theme in Leia. Sometimes it does make me cringe a little bit. Like sometimes
and when they did it in Rogue One, it was a little annoying to me. I'm like, you guys, it's a little much. I think they kept trying to get this idea across, and this is probably the one where it makes the most sense, Like,
well, it's a show. It's a show don't tell version of hope. Leia's not just coming up in the screen going hope. It's actually like people are because Kenobi, like I say in the article, when he's on Tatooine, everyone's defeated on Tatooine. Yeah. No one's up and coming. As far and in his experience, the guys he's with on that boat, that sand fishing boat, they're not having a good time.
Yeah, they look miserable.
Yeah, it's just pure misery. And
that's how I look when I go fishing.
Yeah, it's boring.
Stupid fucking thing.
I go fishing for scoops. This is why I wear this hat, though.
Yeah.
It's my scooping hat. Anyways, but when he gets out there and he sees like this 10-year-old girl who's working with these like political refugees and is working with these people to like defy the Empire. And he sees even the people on what's the planet called? Space Reno. I still can't remember the name. Dayu. On Dayu and stuff like that. Like the allies he makes are like, they end up being this like testament to the fact that he's not alone. He's not the only one who's defying this. He has his part to play, but he's not the only one. And when he realizes he's not alone is when Qui-Gon is able to do that, Yoda will always be with you. That's when he's able to actually like acknowledge and accept that. And then it becomes true. It becomes something, Qui-Gon becomes a part of his life. And I think at the end of the story, when you see like, when you see him begin on a cave floor, then you see him in the room with his master who was murdered by Darth Maul. That like we see maybe the most emotional he ever is in the story. I mean, like outward his no moment. We see that it's like, wow, it's kind of like a really sweet thing.
Transformation, isn't it?
Yeah, his family. He's like, he kind of gets his family back, even though he's still in a bad situation. But it explains why we have that guy whose spirits are a little bit more lifted when he's finally meeting Luke and stuff like that. And in a weird way, I think it explains why why does he show up to Luke's ear at that moment in A New Hope now? It's because that's like Qui-Gon did that for him. He's doing that for Luke. And Luke's going to do that for Rey. And Rey's going to do that for little Stewie. Little Stevie. Her next Padawan.
Fucking stop. He keeps haunting me everywhere. Especially when I shave. dick. I always think I can't get rid of the beard. It grows back. No, but it grows back in
Baymax.
Kurt's shape. It's weird.
Oh no, a pussy eating Kurt's beard. Baymax said, I fell asleep listening to a replay once, and Jason and about 5 others stormed into my apartment and started picking up and playing with all my Star Wars men. I woke up having an anxiety attack. I'm like, hey, look, let me take off that soft goods cloak that you can't put back on. Yeah, Rob was sticking my Star Wars men in his sketchy pockets. The young boomer says, GI looks better in moonlighting, bright daylight. Yikes. What? GI?
Global illumination.
Whoa. George Ickes?
Is he using global illumination?
He's a boomer.
Like, read it again. Read that one again, but with global illumination for GI.
Global illumination looks better in moonlighting, bright daylight. Yikes.
Yeah, he means like it looks better at night versus bright. I guess, man. Unless he means. Yeah, man, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
wait, maybe. Maybe is it GL? I don't know. We'll figure it out someday.
I tried to date Sybil Shepherd once, but I only got a date with Bruce Willis. It's unfair.
Yeah, and please read the article, not from my stuttering mouth. It's probably better. Maybe, I don't know. Not the best writer.
Curtis Armstrong and I had a really good night though. So that was fun.
I like when I don't really give a shit, but I like when people try to like crap on my writing. It's like, okay, crap on my writing. I don't care. Look at my investigative skills.
That's all they can crap on about. Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, you can look at that if you want to, but I got some other things going on.
You're right at how you talk. What's wrong with that? Like,
yeah, it's true.
That's what you want.
That's what. Yeah, I mean, I'm a man of the people. I always say, people's champions, what they used to call me. James says, how's it going, James? They need to start considering the live action adaptation of characters when they're developing animation. Yes, I have always felt that way. I was like, I've always liked Ahsoka's general, like the Togruta design and stuff like that. But even then I was like, they need to consider like, will this ever work in live action if they want to? And at the time people were like, they're never going to make more live action Star Wars. So who cares? That show's never going to come out. Who cares? And I was like, yeah, I understand.
I would disagree. I would say when it comes to live action, they should be more adventurous in their designs, more artistic in their designs, and less humanoid. Because I just feel like if that dude, and if that Inquisitor dude, which I have no attachment to, I don't care.
Yes.
If he just looked like the dude from Revenge of the Sith, no one would really be complaining. Like it's not. I mean, look at Cad Bane. That were. I mean, people were. The size of the head is different.
Let me ask you this, Rob. Do you think if there was no Grand Inquisitor in animation, and that was the first time they were ever seeing that character, would they be all about him?
No. The shape of his head's weird, and so like I found it's weird. Basic with training. In basic training, when you first get your head shaped, people have weird fucking shaped heads. It's not like, on the 3D model thing when you turn off hair and it's a perfectly smooth. It's weird. We're all lumpy and misshapen, and some guys get clowned, but then everyone's clowning one another, and then you shut up because you got, it's pain after that. But
yeah.
So that's where I wonder, look, you know who you hold at fault? The director makes the decisions. So this is Deborah Chow was cool with the look. That was the look. That's it. Like that's Ridley Scott says all the time. That's the whole point of a director's job, is to make decisions. That's the director's decision. I think the Cad Bane looks the way he did because Filoni directed that episode, right? So like
Cad Bane looks brilliant for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah. So he was there all the way through, and I think that people just have different sensibilities, like artistic sensibilities, and so like it's not horrible, it's not bad. It's just like, well, it's. The performance will change everything. I feel,
My take is that the Grand Inquisitor looks good on paper or animation in that design, and I do like it. It is very good. But then in live action, I don't think it looks as cool as he does in the cartoon. But I also think it looks fucking terrifying, and it looks super weird. And so I kind of dig
Weird
it.
would be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
so
not
I'm
in
like,
a bad way, just weird.
no,
Like,
no, just super weird. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it's sort of unsettling, and it's supposed to be. And
My-
so I don't so as far as it goes, like I'm not, I don't know, I'm
I
not
think
destroyed
one
by
of,
it or anything.
one of the problem is there's just a lack of texture across the board on his design. The suit doesn't have texture. His skin doesn't have a lot of texture. There's no scarring. Like if you look at the back of Vader's head in Empire Strikes Back, there's like all that scarring, right? It's a misshapen head. He's a fester look, but it was really got some weird texture to it. When you clean him up, like they did in Jedi, you're like, it's just a powdery dude now. You know, it's tough with that stuff. You know, like that's where texture solves a lot of problems. So that I told you my get out of jail free card was if this had a film grain, you wouldn't be staring at it so much. I'm telling
The
you.
film grain we go.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
guy
that's
in
right.
film grain.
Ah, jeez.
No, I do agree. I would not mind if they had that either. James says the Grand Inquisitor looks like the referenced the Rebels character and not the species as seen in Revenge of the Sith. So I watched the prequels quite a bit, and I seem to remember that they don't all have that Bruce Spence shaped head. There are some in the background. There are other Utapauans who have the same, like very similar shaped head. Um, but I will also concede that I don't feel like the skin texture feels the same as the Utapauan skin texture.
Right,
I
100%.
think that's
Nothing.
where,
Matter of fact, he just looks like a generic undead Sith guy. You know what I mean?
like a bulbous head, white face. At least he has the ridges. He does have the ridges, and I think he looks a hell of a lot better in the volume than he does on the location set.
Right. My wife thought that voice was Palpatine. She just can't get rid of that guy. It keeps going. I'm like, this takes place before.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta catch a timeline, you know, but the timeline screws up the average person at first glance, by the way.
That's okay.
But then I was like, that's not Palpatine's voice, by the way. Like that's the dude. And she's like, oh. But I was like, I know, British evil guy.
Yeah.
You know, like it's right, Chris? Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I will only hang out with Australians, Irishmen, and Scottish people. That's it.
What about Greeks? Because I'm Greek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But British people, never. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm
Nah.
kidding. I love you, Meg. I'm just kidding. I just hung out with one right like a few minutes ago.
She will super chat a cut down. You careful, dude.
No,
she'll
like I'll owe her $5. That's the thing.
She'll put us all on force blast. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I hung out with her in Santa today, by the way. We did a good show covering this. So if you need more of the Qui-Gon article stuff, I talked with Santa and Meg today for like an hour or something. It was really good.
she's very talkative on that show. I watched that show. I don't think she likes me and Rob that much, but that's understandable.
No, I think we just I blindsided her with that story, and she was just like, well, I don't know what to fucking say about this.
I have also felt when Meg comes on, sometimes she's like in reporter mode.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like she's got like a little pad. She's like, all right, okay. And what about this, Jason? And she's got like that list of questions.
And it says scoop. It says scoop right
here.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's why she's so successful. She's always working. Yeah. I mean, you know, like us over here, we're like, man, let's hang out at Toys R Us and talk about Qui-Gon.
You know what's funny is like I'll tell my kids like the real fun scoops. You know, like I'll be like, guys, when there's something cool. And I tell them, they're like, okay. And then, you know, and they're like, okay, cool. But in the morning when we wake up and I put Meg's show on when they're getting ready for school. Mm-hmm. And then when they see my stuff on her show, that's when they're like, whoa, that's when I'm cool. So thank you, Meg, for making me kind of cool to my kids. Oh, wait. Okay. Dell says, I've had a similar experience on Santa's show, but I was rarely asleep during that time. There's always the grand pomp and vibrations going on when I fade into the dream state. Yeah. By the way, there's this product that Baymax and I are really, really pushing Santa to like start to like sell on his show. And
Insulin.
insulin.
It's felt with the candy canes and cookies. It's probably good for
it's
everything
actually
on the other side.
it's apocalyptic rations. It's like barrels of soup and gold. No, wait. Okay, I'm actually sending the images that Baymax made.
Turns out you can eat the pines. Yeah.
Not only can you use these to dodge bullets during the end times, but you can also eat the soup.
People think these reindeer live forever. No! They keep the names, but it's different meat. Everything goes into Santa rations. Yeah, the reindeer rations.
The North Pole collection. Pack. The Kathleen Kennedy thon. I mean, look at the. I mean, and Santa's body is rocking. I mean, he is rocking. And then this is the Kathleen Kennedy thong right here. Look at it. Look at that. It's beautiful.
It's gonna come to haunt you, Jason. They're never gonna forgive you for that. You're never gonna get a job there now.
Oh no, you don't you don't think
the greatest part was when Frank Marshall makes that his icon on Twitter, like.
and then Baymax. This one is
he's really
stellar. It's Kenobi with the Viewmaster, and he's looking at
I like the Viewmaster.
Yeah, me too.
Viewmaster's great.
I actually, I have I have all the Pee Wee Herman slides for Viewmaster. I need to get a new one. Yeah, I'm a fan of that kind of stuff.
See, because people like 3D,
right? Jason's head plugged on a battle droid graphic coming up. Al Gore was hard at work laying the fiber optics by hand. The internet is a series of tubes. Yeah.
He can never let that one go.
Once again, thank you for the super chat, Sheev. And Sheev, if you ever want to come and hang out on the show, open invite, of course. Like if you're ever free at this time or anytime we're doing something, we'd love to hang out with you. I have been meaning to invite you on the show for quite a while, and I'm just dumb, to be honest. Talking Sith did Talking Sith podcast this week. Had a really good time with the guys over there talking about Star Wars 2 and all the trailer stuff. So check out that podcast. Lost Missions Clone Wars Yoda has to face his dark side of the Force for Ghost training. In Return of the Jedi, Anakin defeats his dark side. I think it lines up, right? It does. Yeah. Yoda has to. What is he? He has to confront his hubris. And in defeating his hubris and becoming humbled, and so I'm thinking it's like losing whatever it is that is keeping you down, and so is hope in both of those possibly, or is it just about losing what's bogging you down? It could just be that too, but I'm pretty sure we thematically are talking about hope here today. Hope Hicks. Baymax says, so dying Vader can become a Force ghost because Luke gives him hope at the end. Yeah, that's that's what I think all of this may be saying. Now, anyone could feel free to disagree right now. I'm hearing plot points. I'm not hearing, here's what it is. Here's the thematic. Here's the scoop on the thematic resonance that Deborah Chow and Joby Harold laid out. Like I'm hearing these components.
I seriously doubt they articulate it into concrete words.
I think they probably do while they're talking. Like they probably do talk when they're discussing it in private. But I don't think they're telling the crew. I don't think the crew is privy to that and stuff.
Nor do I think it's explicitly stated in the script or in the scene. It's all visual, right? Like
that's what I would say too. Yeah. They're never going to go, the key was hope, and look at the camera and go, there's hope, you guys. No, they're not going to do that. It's thematically interwoven into it. It's a show, don't tell kind of element. And that's why when we see him essentially bumming in the cave, and then we see what he rises to, Young Boomer says George should have never added the 2 no's in that scene. I kind of disagree. I think that it maybe I don't think they used I think there was something weird to it. It's been like 20 years since those scoops happened or since that stuff came out. But I believe he just used edited no's from somewhere else. Like they didn't get Liam Neeson back. They like used it from the Phantom Menace recording sessions or something weird like that. And I feel like
weird, man.
yeah,
so weird how it gets cut in.
yeah, no, and
for an editor, for a guy who prides himself on editing, that sound design wise, I just don't.
mm-hmm.
You know, like it's one of those things, man, that shows up in the prequels. Like, no, it's just way off on the camera. There's this thing that happens, and then we interlaid the sound over, so it's covered. It's like, yeah, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, like every now and then I'll record a song, and then when I'm recording the song, like I don't think about like harmonies and stuff. And then later on, when I start listening to my demo in the car and stuff, then I start like coming up with harmonies that should be there. Other things I hear, and sometimes like I'll just like I'm gone grocery shopping and I'll have this driving home. I'll have this idea. I put the groceries on the thing. I run right here, set up the computer, hit record, do the harmony, then leave it alone, then go back to my life. And then when I go back to the song, I have this really shitty version of the harmony I lay down. But when I don't get a chance to go record it, I get used to it being shitty like that. And I think it's fine. And then I go and actually redo it. And I'm like, whoa, what was I doing? So I can see how you kind of become blind when you keep looking at something over and over and over again, and being able to have that skill to step back and be analytical about your work and not just get used to it. It's hard. And sometimes I think with Lucas having the amount of control over that movie that he and Ben Burt had as editors and stuff on it, I kind of think that sometimes that happened to them. That's my theory, is that they got so used to like the demo that they lost sight of what it would have been like polished.
You ever write something with someone before? Like sit down to write something, like co-write?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Sometimes like if you guys are writing jokes and you're like making each other laugh, you're like, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And then the day of, so what the fuck were you thinking? You tell the joke to other people and they're like, we don't know what the hell.
Don't get this. Yeah.
Where'd that come from? Yeah. It's like sometimes when you're like working with the same people over and over
Story
again.
of my life. No, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of explains half our jokes on this show, to be fair. But
fair enough.
Fair enough.
Fair criticism.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's what I do here. Fair criticism.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean and then now that we have Qui-Gon coming into this series, I'm even more like I'm glad George added it, because I like what we're getting here. But I had hoped like George brought Shmi Skywalker back for the 2011 Blu-ray. He like had her record a couple of lines for when Anakin has his shirt off and is saying "Mom, no," and all that stuff. They enhanced that because it was just weird when you're like, why are you saying no, mommy? You know, it comes off, it was more funny and kind of strange. But I never understood why he never got Liam Neeson to re-record the lines for Attack of the Clones when he had him there for the Clone Wars. I'm like, come on, he wouldn't even have known. You could have just had him say no, Anakin, no. You could have had him just do it right there and then replace that with the actual thing. It would have been an upgrade too. But that's George Lucas for you. James says Filoni said that Anakin started looking into retaining his identity after death due to his experience on Mortis, and eventually he figured it out on his own. Yeah, I do remember that. I do feel like that conversation was a little bit like Filoni's interpretation with what existed in that moment. And I am going to guess that if that is still true, if that is still accurate, if it still pertains, which it probably does, I still think that this hope component is still integral, because that's one thing that somebody who's a Sith Lord really doesn't have. When you become a Sith Lord, I think you've given up. You've given up that there are better ways. You've essentially given up on yourself and humanity, and you only see power as the way to accomplish the ends. And so yeah, I think so. I think what Filoni said probably still does hold up, but also Filoni didn't write it, and but everything does have to interface. And I'm sure that Filoni, being like an creative executive director or whatever his title is, probably sees every single piece of
Grand
written
Poobah.
text. Grand Poobah of Lucasfilm.
It's the Grand Poobah. That's the official title.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Ray
will do it for Lambhead in the next baton change. Yes. Yes. Yeah, see, it turns out nobody takes Lambhead seriously because this has so much wool. It's all this wool, and then Ray takes out that yellow lightsaber and she shaves it away, and then like it's cinders, and then his name is Lambhead Lambda Cinder is its name.
Well, the new movie is going to be called Heir to the Lambhead, so you'll know it's
yeah,
an adaptation of the Lambhead saga. Can't wait.
The Rise of Lambhead. Yeah.
Can we fucking stop with the Rise shit?
Okay.
God damn, I'm so fucking tired of Rise.
Young Boomer was saying Grand Inquisitor GI. I was thinking of gastrointestinal when you wrote that.
Oh yeah.
But if you think it looks bad, gastrointestinal will also work.
And as an artist, I'm like, global illumination, I guess. The lighting is, I know, right?
You know, I always had
test that.
when we got to like, remember like around that time when like Kentucky Fried Chicken became KFC and it became the cool trend everywhere to make everything an abbreviation. In my head at that moment, in my disgust for the laziness of our society and the grossness of Kentucky Fried Chicken, I refused to say IHOP in my head. In my head, I see the IHOP acronym and I say International House of Fucking Pancakes, friend, because it is regal and it deserves its luster, its prestige.
Is it any good? We don't have that down under.
Nah, not really, dude.
No. No, it is not good.
If you were,
like IHOP.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy, but yeah.
All you need is IHOP, and then you can live forever in the Force. Hop.
Kurt Cobain's favorite restaurant. I could drop a Kurt Cobain reference in every episode. Hey, did you hear it? Yeah, but it's like if you like pancakes with different kinds of syrup, it like if you want strawberry syrup. If you smoke too much marijuana and you want or you just don't want your standard.
They don't even make
maple?
the syrups, Chris.
No.
It's just a bunch of shit that's been sitting on that table for a month. Like it's disgusting. But there's a reality right now where there's a real genius person in marketing that takes all those all we need is hope and they re-edit it to all we need is hop and they make a fucking IHOP commercial out of it. We get the Star Wars pancake special, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm not missing out on much, in other words.
No. It's like I said, if you're drunk or stoned, you're like, all right, pancakes. It's cool. Does what it's supposed to do.
Is it open all night or is it like a 24-hour thing? Or?
Some of them are 24 hours. Most of them aren't anymore. But they usually are in buildings that are shaped like this, like the roof goes down to the ground almost. It's weird.
Those are the old ones. They're all normal now.
We still
had that teepee look.
Yeah, no, we still have new ones. We have new ones here that are made in that Swiss style. Yeah.
Yeah, that Swiss style. Yeah.
But anyways, why were we talking about that? Oh yeah. So anyways, so whenever I read abbreviations in my mind, I say it. Like it took me a long time to start saying Tross. And I just started doing it on the show because I felt like I was testing the patience of the audience, saying the Rise of Skywalker.
I just had to do the math on that one. Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. But as Baymax says, can we stop with the Rise shit? We must still do Becoming Sheev, the rise of young Sheev Palpatine. Yeah. And then
what Rise of Revenge guy? That one I can I don't know how it all happened. How the revenge started. How's it going? Where's it going to?
Yeah, Rise. I don't know. It feels like a
Rise.
Yeah, it doesn't. I just get completely different vibes off of that. Like it feels like the Ghostbusters starting a business. Like Rise of the Ghostbusters makes more sense. It's terrible, but it makes more sense to me than like even Rise of Skywalker. It's like
It just all
no.
comes from the internet. It's that whole episode 2, Rise of the Empire. Like it's all started there, and we haven't been able to shake it since.
Yeah, well,
You know?
it's because the cats making this stuff now grew up in that fucking internet culture.
Yeah.
Thinking like, yeah, that's what you do, bro. That's how you do it, So
And JJ put it in a title. I hate him for it. Like I really do. Like I've always done. I'm like that fucking shit. Oh.
I'll be a bad shill and I'll say, I don't like any of the titles of the sequel trilogy for the most part. I like The Last Jedi the most. It reminds me of The Last Unicorn. Kind of has that like fairy tale kind of vibe to it. But I would rather they have been in the more of that Empire Strikes Back, Phantom Menace sort of 1 foot in noir, 1 foot in the serial kind of like vibe to it, that old timey feel. I don't feel like they're consistent with the titles that we had before. So yeah, but fair. I will also concede that A New Hope is an apt title, and we'll just leave it at that.
That would never would have been the title though. Like
but it is.
I don't even count.
Now
that.
it is.
But now it is. I don't even count. I don't count.
Yeah, but it's been that since we were. It's been on there since we were 2 years old.
Hey, you know what? And I've been bitching about it since. All right,
really?
First memory I ever had.
Oh,
yeah,
that
and shitting myself.
No.
It's the same day. It's the same day. So it was a big day.
Do you guys remember when you first figured out it was episode 4? When you figured out Roman numerals and you understood it was episode 4? I did not believe my parents. I thought they must be stupid. That must mean number 1, and they must be stupid. Was what I thought. I didn't trust them.
Your parents didn't watch the Super Bowl, huh?
I didn't want no. I didn't grow up in I didn't grow up in a football family.
Yeah. It didn't make sense to me when I was like 11 years old. So yeah.
Yeah,
but now it does.
My dad was a Chargers fan. Mm-hmm. Lifetime of disappointment.
So you guys weren't a Super Bowl family either?
I was the one laughing. Didn't make it, did it, Dad? I don't even like sports, but I like Mario Tennis, Chris.
Yesterday was Mario Day. Yesterday was Mario Day. It was March 10th. Mario.
Yeah. Look, Rob, I'm really glad you like tennis. That really warms my heart a bit.
Chris, I
like video game tennis.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel good about that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did I ever tell you I was kicked off the tennis team?
No.
Yeah, you did. That was hilarious.
I was
Tell them the story.
In high school. So in high school, being I wasn't even really that chubby in high school. I was a little bit more self-conscious in high school just because you are.
Yeah.
But swimming was coming up, and you were going to have to take off your shirt in front of all the girls and get in the pool. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. No. And so me and my best friend are like, well, we could join a team. And we go and look, and the tennis team was forming right then. So we went and we signed up, and they're like, yeah, it doesn't mean you'll compete, but you'll be a part of it. And then when you're on the level, you'll be able to compete. So we're like, okay. So anyways, there was some presidential physical fitness challenge thing that everybody had to like do. And there was something in the gym with the pool, and the tennis team shows up there early. And then so we're supposed to do it, but we were able just to we had to hang out with the normal PE kids in that room. And I had these like kind of weird kids that I always, hung out with. And I was like, hey, you know what would be fucking funny? They're like, what? If you guys threw all of those tables in the pool. Cause I'm just that guy. I was that guy.
You're a menace.
Yeah. And so the crazy kids, these are the kids I would tell, hey, go set the trash cans on fire. That would be funny. And they would go do it. And they go and they pick up these tables and they throw them all into the pool, but they didn't take the stuff off the tables. They just threw everything in the pool. So pens, everything went in the pool, and then the pool. And so we all leave. And then the pool has to be drained. Nobody has to swim that year. I'm a hero. Everybody loves me,
Nice.
but I'm on the tennis team now.
Oh,
I'm on the fucking tennis team. I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to school and go home. I don't want to do any of this.
yeah.
And yeah, you know how you have like that. I don't remember what you call it, but the thing that like shoots the balls at you.
Oh yeah, the ball machine. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, well, I pick up. Is that what it's called? It's called the ball machine. I thought you'd have a good name for it by now, Chris. The ball machine. I pointed the ball machine over the wall. All of the cheerleaders were having like they're practicing doing their rallies, and I could hear them all screaming. And I'm not a fan of the football players. I'm not a fan of the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
I hate all these fucking people. I don't want to. I don't want to be at school. Yeah. If I was in the 50s, I was more of a pony boy. I was from the other side of the tracks. So, anyways, we start shooting the tennis balls from the ball machine over the wall at the cheerleaders, and we could hear them screaming, and it's funny as fuck. And we're like laughing. You can tell nobody's getting hurt. It's just they're going up high. They're not. They're coming down.
They're not.
You know, nobody's. Yeah. But the tennis coach, his name was Mr. Howie. And I refuse to call somebody named Howie Mister. I look at him. I got the thing in my hand. I'm like a fucking Ghostbuster. And I'm all, "Sup, Howie?" And he's all, "I told you for the last fucking time, don't call me Howie. Go to the office." And then I had to go. I had to go back to PE.
Did you ever hold a tennis racket? Oh.
Yeah, I also threw it up in the air like it was a guitar, and I was in Nirvana.
Oh, so you're spinning it around and
threw it. Yeah, we threw it up in the air. I got it going a few times. A few times we got it going, but
that stroke happening, that motion.
Yeah, I was a little bit like a grandfather having a stroke playing Mario Tennis, though. That was probably about as accurate as I was.
How I'm gonna go. I'm hoping that's how I exit the earth.
It's a fucking great story, man. I love that shit.
But yeah, that's the story of me and Mr.
These days
Howard.
they just bring the police in and they shoot you on sight.
Yeah. No, they would go, "Wait, no, he's a white boy with blonde hair. Seems innocent enough."
Oh, just tase him until his balls fall off.
Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me, bro.
The whole pool had to be drained. How are we still allowed to go to school? Like, isn't that like a criminal offense? Like, you just.
Oh, they didn't know.
Not in the 90s, my friend.
No, they didn't. I never got busted for that. I got other people to do it. That nobody knew I did it. And
but you manipulated it.
I was the puppet master Palpatine in that instance where I was like, "Hey, you know, it'd be funny," because there were these guys that were just like always doing acid and stuff that just like kind of like would hang out with us, and they were just like always on a different planet, and it was just always like these fucking dudes, you know, and yeah, weird.
I'm really into fish.
That's fucking awesome, man.
I think one of them ended up following fish for quite a while. The other one is the guy I told you
guy
got hit by a car
in the army. There was this guy in the army in basic training who looked like, you know, Shane Black in The Predator, where he has that bald head and those big bottle glasses and he's got the psychotic grin.
Okay,
he was that guy, and like they were dancing once in the billets in basic training. He starts dancing like a jig, like the feet coming out, like almost like the It clown. They're fucking weird. He's the weirdest fucking dude I've ever met. And then like they stuck me in a room with him for like a week when I got to Germany. I was like, "You got to get me out of this room, man." And all I did was listen to Fish nonstop, and he was always on. Like, "This is great."
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in happy joy, like the fucking music video for life. This guy, I forget his name.
That sounds psychotic, man. What the fuck?
Yeah. That's what they do, Chris. They hire psychotic for the military.
Now I know how you are able to tolerate this show every day. Now it was practice. It was practice. While in the office, did Howie tell you never get involved with the girl with the tattoo of a dagger on her body? He also told me never play cards with the man who's has the same name as a city. He also told me that. But yeah,
Reno.
Yeah, Howie, poor Howie. I mean, I was so mean. I was such a dick to Howie, you know.
Yeah.
I was. Howie just wanted to play tennis. You know, you could just see it. Tennis was all.
It turns out
We should
Howie
have
was
traded
at
spots, Jason. I would have exceeded in that department.
What was that?
Howie was at January 6th.
Oh no, no.
Ever since these kids are, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
He's been fighting the youth ever since.
I just got this image in my head of you just like holding the fucking ball machine. You just
Yeah, it was on like a tripod, and we just kind of like leaned it back, and was just.
Did you feel like you were in
firing
American
it.
Gladiators? Remember when they had that big
Yes!
cannon? You had to yeah.
Yes, I did.
See, I'm speaking your age, right?
You know exactly what I thought.
I would have been in the back laughing. There's no fucking way you get me to do it. My dad would beat the shit out of me. There's no fucking way I could. But I'd be laughing.
Yeah, that was the thing was like, is I just learned like the little teenage punker in me was just like, yeah, go ahead, beat the shit out of me. It doesn't change anything. It hurts.
I know, but then I gotta get the shit kicked out of me. I still, it's gonna fuck. I want to watch Monday Night Raw and be left alone.
Yeah.
I don't want the trouble. I like trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corn dog and my glass of iced tea, Monday Night Raw, and I want to draw comics like that.
Yeah. No, I had 1 foot in. I know. I've always had 1 foot in where you are, and 1 foot on that end of me, of the spectrum of my personality. And every now and then, I will do things on the right hand side of my personality, and then revert to Rob, and then have to deal with it as Rob. And I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? Now I really don't want that. I really don't need that. I was up for it, at noon. But now
I'm what the parents call your good friend, but I am also like, I get where you're going with this. I support this. I just can't do it. I fear the pain, but it's fucking funny as hell. I'm not the good friend. I just, I did say we probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
it is funny now.
It is pretty funny. Yeah. Santa said I had a little computer trouble. Had to do a hard reboot, do some driver updates, and just got back. Well, I'm glad you made it back, dude. Yeah, the computers, man. How do they work? Same thing with magnets.
Yeah,
I'm not really a tech guy, Jason. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Santa says
hire people.
I was active Army duty from 87 to 92. Would be hilarious if Rob and I went at the same time. Laugh out loud. Yeah, you were.
No, I started high school in 92.
You were probably like what, a good 7 years after that, probably 6 years.
Yeah, in 87, I was my favorite thing in 87 was Married with Children every night at Sunday. So
yeah, I was 7.
Yeah,
I was 7 in 87.
I was born in 87.
You were born in 87. Yeah. It's I like I said, every now and then though, when I look back on my life and who I am and what I become, every now and then I go like, I wonder if I should have went in the military. I wonder if it would have. I wonder if would I have become the guy from Full Metal Jacket, or would I just have really shaped up, got my shit
not
together.
Before the wars, bro. Like in our time, like Santa went through Desert Storm. I was in there in I got out in 2001 right before 9/11. So like,
thank God.
I was the last of the not ever being in a war. Yeah. And for some reason, no war like drew guys nuts. Like I just heard about how psychotic Americans are. Like they wanted to kill things. I'm like, you get killed while you're trying to kill things, right? Like it's not a one-sided battle. Why don't we not kill things? I would just be here in case defense, but why with the killing? Like,
well, hell, I mean, I'll be. I mean, honestly, like I'm somebody who thinks like pop culture isn't necessarily responsible for raising our children. You know what I mean? And then you do run against the side of it that not everybody has a good parent. So bad pop culture can raise children and can raise them poorly. Like that is like a true thing. But as a kid, like I watched Rambo and I wanted to go fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You watch those Arnold action movies and I wanted to go to war as a little kid. Like I thought it was going to be fucking sweet. And it's not until like I started to get a little bit older and I started talking to people who had been in Vietnam that I realized, oh, this is not good. This is not, you don't go away from this a hero. You go away from this broken. It became very clear to me.
I spent my childhood going to the VA, so I would see guys who like just even had like drug addiction problems during Vietnam, and like they have to remove parts of their nose and sew it up because they were snorting coke and shit like that. So
yeah,
I was like, drugs are bad. Look what that guy was like. Okay, check that one off the fucking list. I did want to steal an F-16 though after watching Iron
Eagle. With Louis Gossett Jr. that would still be cool.
It's my favorite scene in Cobra Kai in the first season when he's watching Iron Eagle and he hears that speech by Chappie. And I'm like, fucking, that's me.
I'm down to just steal a car with Louis Gossett Jr. Like that would be cool.
I wonder if Chris Leto could steal an F-16 and actually fly it.
I'm down to do that with him too. And we could talk about UFOs while we fly around looking for Tic Tacs. That would be great.
He's like, don't implicate me in your insurrection scheme.
Don't put me on Lucasfilm's shit list, Jason Ward. But I had something to say. Baymax says Jason in the military would have been the original WikiLeaks. Probably, yeah. I know. I probably would have got leaked military secrets because they were wrong or something. They're giving us all fun drugs. I mean, I would have completely have gone and been one of those guys who they give too much acid to, though. That sounds kind of fun, if you know. The young boomer says loved Married with Children. Used to be on at like midnight in the UK back in the 90s. Yeah.
First 4 seasons. After that, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm gonna go first 4 seasons, but I'll do those post seasons too every now and then, just because it's fun.
In highlight clips.
How many seasons did they have?
11.
11.
It went on 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it abruptly ended at 10. They didn't even give him a chance to end the show. That's why I'm like,
what was that, Chris?
So there's 11 seasons and it just ended. There was no like finale or anything like that.
No. So in season 4, there's an episode where you see where Al actually wins. He never wins at anything. He wins this softball game in season 4. And then at the end, it cuts to 5 years later and he has a nice life with his wife in another town. So I just take that episode and I put at the end of season 4 because there's this Christmas episode where he goes back in time and see what it was like if he wasn't alive. If you put that, the show ends with a happy ending. And I'm like, that's good right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So after season 4, he wins something and it totally changes the show or something like that. Is that
it didn't, but in me, it did. My headcanon, I'm like, that's how I work it out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just I don't remember if I ever shared this or not, but when I was never a huge X-Files fan. Like I don't dislike it, but I when it came on, I just like didn't really get into it. I started working like a job as like a teenager, so I just never actually had time to watch it and just never got into it. Yeah. But my teenage girlfriend, when I was a teenager, Twitter, she would watch that show like religiously, and she worked at the Queen Mary. And one day she's like, "Hey, come down and eat with me and David Duchovny, the guy from the X-Files." So I go down there and
from Red Shoe Diaries
guy. And so yeah, we like a bunch of the people who from down there on the set and from the Queen Mary were we all ate at this like park benches, and he was just really nice and saying hi to everybody. It was cool. Well, anyways, I was so nonchalant about it because I don't give a shit about David Duchovny. I don't care that he's famous or whatever.
Yeah.
And I never really cared about anything he was in. Well, the same thing happens about maybe, I don't know, it felt like 2-3 weeks later. And it's for that Ghost movie that Liam Neeson did in 1999. It might have been House on Haunted Hill. Might be that one. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called that. And Liam Neeson comes out and does and hangs out with all of the people from the Queen Mary, and does a catered lunch with all of them at the Queen Mary, and she doesn't tell me. And she fucking knows he's in Star Wars. It hasn't come out yet. Oh, I'm still mad.
I thought you didn't really care.
Yeah.
Get rid of her.
Yeah. We broke up, obviously.
Yeah.
This is why, like, I can't get gifts from people because they give me things and I'm like, oh, why'd you give me that? You know, like I'm never Just don't give me nothing, And then they're like, whoa,
Right.
Rob doesn't. So now, like if I ever have a friend who hits it wealthy, they're like, you never really wanted anything anyway. I'm like, wealth I'd like,
Yeah.
but I'm screwed for life now because I've always just been like, fucker gets.
Oh God,
don't give me nothing.
Sledgehammer, was that the show with Tackleberry? Am I remembering the right show?
No, it's a different actor, but he slept
Okay.
with his gun like Tackleberry was.
Yeah.
So the promos for Sledgehammers, he'd look over. It was a blonde dude, and he'd have his gun on a pillow, and he would sleep with it. Which is about normal now for America.
Yeah, that used to be a joke. And
yeah.
Now it's yeah. Anyways, Baymax says with Kenobi and Andor being more self-contained stories, feels like the Mandoverse is where they're going to keep the MCU style comic book storytelling with weekly cameos. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think like some of these stories when they create them, they have an objective that must be obtained. Like it has work it must do. But with the Mandoverse, it's open, man. They have the time. They could explore things, go down alleyways that we never thought we would or should.
Sleep with Jawas.
And yeah, I mean it completely though. By the way, the Jawa in that scene with Pelly. Is her name Pelly?
It's Daniel Craig.
No,
that's Daniel Craig.
I had that scoop. I actually hid that scoop. I didn't know I should make it. I was so green. I didn't know I should make that a title of an article, and I just threw that in as some like throwaway knowledge, for Star Wars movie. Anyways, but there was an actor who plays a woman, I think, who plays the Jawa in Book of Boba Fett, the one that Pelimoto probably banged, or I don't know if she was supposed to have banged that one, but the one who's in the scenes with her.
Brings up the pieces for the ship. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, the one who brings that. I'm pretty sure that Jawa is in Kenobi, and it has an important part to play in the first part of the story. I'll talk about that all that very soon. I want to reward the people, the 48 of you who've hung out with us past tennis stories and stuff like that. But yeah, there is
past lewd pictures of Santa.
Yeah, there is a Jawa past that body though, Santa. You're working out, bud.
He's more ripped than me. I'm impressed.
Yeah, dude, you should definitely talk about carbs and stuff with Santa because he knows how to.
Candy canes are low carb.
I only eat candy,
and they're gluten free.
Oh shit!
But yeah. But anyways, so there's a Jawa that's important. To the not when I say important, I mean like does something important and plays a hilarious role in the first episode, and I'll talk about that stuff pretty soon. That was like one of the first things I ever heard from the show. I just never got around to it. Just never got around to reporting that one, and then decided to hold off until I had everything. Because see, like with Kenobi, I knew if I started reporting stuff as I heard it, that the fakers would start latching on and then expounding upon things that I could not then clarify.
Yeah.
Or people go, well, Chris says that Cassian does show up right there. So Chris says it. So let's just let Chris and see that's right. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let Boba play out, and I'm gonna see who has stuff right too. So that way, when the Kenobi stuff happens, we'll see who could help. And who could help? Bespin Bulletin. That's the only.
Well, his site's legible.
True.
I don't even have a site. I mean, I got an Instagram. You know what I mean? Can't type on that.
You got Instaham. But yeah, no. And so yeah, so anyways, that's one of the ones that kind of fell off, and I remembered it, and I was like, you know what, I should have reported that a long time ago.
So you're gonna write an article about it?
Yeah, I will.
Sometime or
Yeah,
whenever.
I'll get to it. Really soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looking forward to
I got some fun stuff for next week. I got some really fun Mando stuff, and I got some really fun Kenobi stuff. And by the way, before I forget, let me see. I have something here that's not big. I don't know if this is completely out there now either. Let me get this to my computer. I find it mostly very confusing. And me and Bespin, we've talked about it a few times, and we're just like, what the fuck is going on with this stuff? Let me share my tab real quick. Thank you for bearing with me, peoples of the internet. Okay. So yeah, we have another one of those. This is from last night's edition of the of this trade, and it says Star Wars Acolyte and info. So it looks E&E Industries Limited, Pinewood. So it does look like this is again, this is from yesterday, and it says status is May 2022. And so it does appear that we are going to have the Acolyte filming in the UK. The series features
Man, I'm
a
super
female.
excited for this one.
The series is a female-driven action mystery thriller with martial arts elements that will take us into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. And Paradox is what it's called. And I will say on this one, without getting into like details and maybe saying something about somebody else's scoop or whatever, if it is one, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But like there were things about Paradox going on down at Manhattan Beach. So my theory is that they were probably doing casting and testing at Manhattan Beach, and that's why the rumors got around that it was filming there. But apparently it's not. And apparently, but or maybe it's going to be bi-coastal or whatever you want to call it, continental, the intercontinental Star Wars production. But I doubt it. I bet you it's
love those intercontinental champions.
Intercontinental champion.
Mr. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect, the best of all time.
Mr. Perfect was my favorite actually growing up. Yeah. He was my favorite wrestler.
My buddy, the one who looks like an Ewok, also looked and acted like Mr. Perfect. Like if you want to know what he was like, that's what he looked like.
Yeah,
same kind of face,
Yeah,
when Mr. Perfect was younger, he looked like an Ewok. I assure you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that punk spirit of the trolling of the audience. It's just so good. He was so good at it. Both he and Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik are the two best wrestlers of all time. Fuck Hulk Hogan. He's a bitch. I hope he gets fucking humbled. Okay. Anyways, Baymax. Will Force Ghost Qui-Gon have a very particular set of Netherworld skills? Actually, yeah. Now that you mention it, it's
full thought.
Yeah, it's how to sit on Mark Hamill's lap while he flies an X-wing fighter as a ghost.
He's just like,
I'm gonna throw it out there.
I didn't
that
do it.
Qui-Gon Jinn with that hair would definitely go out and do Space Lizard at Space Burning Man.
Shit, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he would. And you know his girlfriend is like 24.
Yeah, he's like
my barber, the shop they have, it's called the Barber Story. They're located in Boise. There's a barber there named Jimbo. Mm-hmm. He's rail thin. He looks just like Liam Neeson. He's got the hair, the beard. I'm like, it's fucking Qui-Gon Jimbo shit. Like, and he eats it up, man. He looks just like his fucking ass. Like, I'm like, why don't you always just wear robes and shit for Halloween, man? Like, and he doesn't do it. I'm like, you understand? As a guy who grew up at Comic-Con, how valuable that is.
Yeah. Right now, Santa probably was like watching the show, and Mrs. Claus probably walked in, and she was like, "Looking good, baby," and he's like, "Ah." I don't know. I'm just joking. Baymax says, "Pay your elves; they will keep coming." Junkbox says,
"Santa's not for the unions, no."
What is it, Junkbox? Junkbox says Acolyte worries me the most with how close it is to the prequels. What is it about that? Is it that you feel like the High Republic era should feel further apart from the prequels, or is it just a prequel vibe for you? Because a part of me, like, I'm not convinced that it's 50 years before the Phantom Menace. That's when the High Republic era ends. But the High Republic era is a few hundred years, right? So
Yeah.
it's like it could be the last 150, it could be 150 years before Phantom Menace, and that's still the end of the High Republic era.
Yeah.
I think. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it's like I think that until they give us something very concrete about when it's supposed to take place, I think, like, I'm just kind of like, okay, we'll see. And I kind of wouldn't be surprised. I know that they're having to coordinate some of it with the vibe of the books and where the books are going and what those phases of stories are. But I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up like filming it and it looks completely too close to being 50 years before Phantom Menace, that they're like, unless there's a plot reason for it to be that, like if Palpatine's born at the end or something. I could see them going like, oh no, now it's 100 years before.
Yeah.
Because originally, when I heard about the High Republic era, behind the scenes, they were saying it was like 450 years before. Like that's where they were going with it. Like Yoda was middle aged is kind of like is what they were saying, and then they ended up changing it, making it much closer as time went on. So I don't really know why. That's maybe something about it that I'm not very jazzed about in total or on whole. About the High Republic era itself is it would have been more fun to have a different Yoda as a different person. Yoda who has not become the fortune cookie guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Young
Well,
one.
that I agree. But
But
it's the creative people behind the Acolyte that excites me.
yeah,
The whole crew. Every time I've heard them speak, every time, and honestly, I know it's not a great game, but Masters of Tarakai, right? Tarakasi, whatever you call it, like
Terrace Kasi.
Tarakasi, whatever.
Terrace
Tarakasi.
Kasi. Yeah.
Yeah, is the like it's I wrote a whole script for it. You know what I mean? Back in '98, so
Yeah.
like made fucking Airbender where they can manipulate the elements using the Force, right? So like kung fu fucking Force shit is the fucking thing that I'm like, yeah, that's what I figured Darth Maul was doing when he's doing all that wushu shit. He had incorporated some of that into his technique, which is why it has all that wushu stuff versus the classical sort of Arthurian knight or samurai knight style. Like, just give me that all day, man. That shit is dope.
I think that's still true too, because we see Maul lose his Sith position. He's no longer Darth Maul. He's Maul now. He's not a Darth. But what does he teach Voss and Dryden Voss and Kira? Teaches them Terrace Kasi. So I think that's exactly like where they're going with this. I think there's going to be like almost sort of like that's going to be like their way of maybe playing with the Force in certain ways and then making it not necessarily that, but obviously it's called Acolyte, so it's probably going to be I think it's going to have Sith in it personally.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it somehow is about what gives us Palpatine. But they're not calling it a limited series, are they?
No.
They've always been very upfront with Kenobi being a limited series, meaning don't expect more until we do our Entertainment Weekly article and start dangling more. For some reason, I kind of some of the decisions. I think it would have been better just to go nope, and then afterwards, like, well, if you want more, yeah, we'll do it. But I think Kennedy was still pretty like me and Meg. I don't think Meg is wrong, but Meg is like, yeah, they're definitely like saying like they'll do more. And then, but I'm like, but she also asked at the end of the question, like at the end of the quote, I'll do more, but why should we do more? And so my take is that if they do more, it'll be from that Underground Railroad stuff I was talking about with Leia, and then Kenobi they'll have some reason to need Kenobi's assistance, And also one other thing I wanted to bring up too, or that I kind of like hinted at, but when Leia goes on this like journey with him, she does name her son Ben, and she knows him as Ben.
Yeah.
And so I thought that's kind of interesting, because I mean, you could just say they didn't know Ben because it's the guy who introduced them. Like that's kind of like the logic when you first hear that, and you get the first part of the story. And then as time goes on, we have this now, and it kind of changes in a way, maybe why Kylo got his name, you know. But yeah, but what a week, you guys! I gotta say,
Crazy week, man.
I'm exhausted. I'm definitely gonna try to stop my mind from thinking about what to do next, where we're gonna go, and just try and relax this weekend. Baymax says, food for thought. Did Force Ghost Kenobi press the trigger in the trench run to blow up the Death Star? I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it from Luke. I'm gonna say he definitely guided him, though. I think it still goes to like Luke. I think Luke still does it. But yeah, but it also. But I think if you love Obi-Wan Kenobi and you think Luke is kind of a little bit of an annoying little bitch, go ahead and just think that in your head.
Yeah.
You know, I know Baymax doesn't think that.
He
but I'm
doesn't
just
really
mean, like,
have the walking around bit until Jedi, though, right?
what do you mean?
He's visible. He's just a voice in the trench run.
He's first the ghost in Empire Strikes Back when Luke is in the snow going.
But he's not
Ben.
sitting on logs in Empire Strikes Back, right? He's visible.
He's an apparition almost. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's sitting on logs, and it takes a while.
Yeah,
it takes a little while, I imagine, before he can sit on logs.
Well, and that might be
standing here looking.
well, if we take the logic of what's on screen, and we take Luke in Return of the Jedi, who's grown immensely in the Force since Empire Strikes Back, you know, he's grown a lot, and then we look at Luke in The Last Jedi, who has now cut himself off, but then begins to reconnect with the Force over the course of the film, as he believes that Rey can help them, starts to help Rey and with all that stuff. Then we have Yoda show up, and Yoda is able to allow bring down the lightning using the Force to strike the tree. But what's your dog's name?
Jawa.
That's Jawa. Okay. Jawa isn't Kenobi. I mean, but has a little part. So get ready, Jawa, and stay away from Pelimoto. She's bad. She's bad.
Those aren't tummy rubs.
Don't do it.
Those
aren't tummy rubs. Yeah, but anyways, I think we're gonna call it a day here, and I think we've had a full week.
Big week.
Yeah, I think next week is going to be fun too. I promise. I have some stuff lined up for next week that will turn you white. What does he say in Ghostbusters? It'll turn you white.
I've seen shit that will turn you white. He says the whitest motherfucker in the room too.
I have seen shit that will turn you white. And so yeah, we'll have more next week. We'll have some Mando stuff. We'll have some Kenobi stuff. And I'm not sure. I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. If I need to rest, I'm going to rest. But I've been reading the Skinwalkers at the Pentagon book, and I may just do a random UFO episode, which is some of the fun stuff I've read so far or something. I may do that. Depends on how I feel. But I kind of want to do that. It sounds kind of fun. But I also,
if you're willing to do it around this time, I can join in while I'm working. I just can't do like late shows anymore. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll message you and figure it out tonight. If I have my way, I'm going to go through and start highlighting. If I'm able to get the highlighting tonight of the book of the fun parts, then I think it's on. But yeah, and thanks to everybody who supports the show and is a channel member. Like I said, it's not free for me to get scoops. They don't just pop into my head. I got to do a lot of legwork. It's a lot of time. It takes a lot of dinners. I'm not buying anybody dinner, for the record. I don't pay for anything. I don't pay for scoops or anything like that. But you got to meet somebody for dinner, meet somebody for coffee, meet whatever you're doing. Meet at a bar. None of that's free. So supporting the channel and the show and reading the articles on MakingStarWars.net is the best way. And whenever you see any of like a YouTuber using my content from somewhere else instead of the primary source, and you know that they're not, say something, leave a comment and say, hey, you should just cover MakingStarWars.net. I would appreciate that, because, you know, give credit where credit's due every time. That's just that's my perspective. And thanks to everyone, you know, over the last you know, couple of months who either stuck with me the whole time or saw my videos and said, I get it now. I see that this was a hatchet job, and doesn't listen to that part of the internet that is just scrambling to matter and be something. They want that validation that they're never going to get. You can only get validation from yourself. I promise you. It's just the truth. You know, I mean, you could do the biggest stuff in the Star Wars scooping thing, and at the end of the day, they're still going to call you a liar. It's not going to believe you. So you can only get it from yourself.
Focus determines your reality.
You know, this guy knows. Yeah. And, but anyways, thanks everyone for supporting the show. And if you want audio versions, become a Patreon supporter. That's another way to support the channel and get the audio versions. And if you do both, bless your little Force Ghost heart. That's all I can say. But thanks. And, yeah. And I hope the drawing's going well, Rob. And Mr. Emperor Spreezy, go take Jawa for a walk.
I'm going to bed. I'm doing right now. It's like 8 in the morning. I'm going to bed.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's bedtime.
All nighter, yeah.
So, fair enough.
All I heard was walk. What? Walk?
and special thanks to Baymax for like a golden girl. Thank you for being a friend. And everyone else in chat who hung out with us today. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday for sure. Maybe tomorrow for some UFO stuff, you know. And now is the time when we have our German dance party. Time to dance.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.